Your position on Syria is one that I think people have misconstrued. Why don't you tell me?
That's putting it nicely.
That's trying to put it as nicely as possible.
Yes.
They've actually said that you are an Assad supporter. I know this is not correct.
Yeah.
But is that one of those things where people just say that in order to sort of diffuse you, to categorize you as a ridiculous person right off the bat, where no one could take anything else you say seriously?
Yeah, it's the usual tactic of trying to smear or vilify me and my campaign and what I'm advocating for, because they don't want to engage on the actual issue itself that I'm pointing out about how devastating and costly their policies are of continuing to wage these wasteful regime change wars, of choosing to support terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda in Syria, directly in Syria, because they are the most powerful force on the ground who's fighting to take out the regime, Assad's government. So they're so focused on toppling this government in Syria that they're willing to actually use taxpayer dollars to provide direct and indirect support to Al-Qaeda terrorists in Syria. When you think about how crazy this is, it makes me angry. I think it makes most people angry. It's why I introduced legislation called the Stop Arming Terrorists Act. Why we would need to have such legislation is beyond me, but clearly we do, to make it so that we don't have any taxpayer dollars going directly to provide any kind of arms or support or anything to terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda, but also to make it so that we are not providing support indirectly through countries like Saudi Arabia, who are providing that support to terrorist groups.
So what has been said of you about Assad and your position on Assad that's just been an outright lie?
Virtually everything. I mean, I'll just tell you what happened. I went to Syria to meet with Syrian people, to hear for myself from them about what was happening there. While there, I was offered the invitation to meet with the president of Syria, and I took it because I think it's important for us to have the courage to meet with leaders, whether they be friends or adversaries or potential adversaries, if our focus is on national security and on peace. So I went and I had that meeting and I asked some tough questions and heard from him his perspective on what was happening and what he was doing in his country, and took the opportunity while there to meet with religious leaders, college students, members of the political opposition, small business owners, women who are working to start their own business to empower other women, Shia, Sunnis, Muslims, Christians, Catholics, people of all different religions. It is because of that and that meeting and my staunch opposition to regime change wars in Syria and in other countries that political opponents and others have chosen to try to smear me, my reputation, and my campaign, and to label me, as you said, she's a supporter of this dictator. Well, if that's true, then anyone who opposed the Iraq war is a Saddam Hussein lover, is a lover of dictators and loves Saddam Hussein. So if you challenge their logic, you see how shallow it is, and there's really none there. And what's exposed is their refusal to engage on the facts and to stand behind why they continue to put the American people through these costly regime change wars and why they continue to wage these wars that are causing incredible suffering for people in different parts of the world.